Today you're getting something for free, so keep watching. Hello noble ones, welcome back to my channel. This is the Metatron speaking, and as many of you know, or at least I think you know, I've been writing a book, my new journey into becoming an author. Yeah, I've written the whole manuscript, the book is complete. For those who don't know, the book is called Sure Path to Fluency, Success in Foreign Language Acquisition, and it's a book that consolidates over 20 years of personal language learning and over 10 years of professional teaching experience that I've had. You ever thought, hey, I would love to learn X language? If you're someone who has tried but failed to reach a fluency you really wanted, this book is for you. It will address the problem and solve it. If you read this book and apply the methods, you will become fluent in the language of your choice. I did say you were getting something for free, so what is it? Alright, so you're getting 3 things. It's Christmas. I'm going to share 4 pages from chapter 2 of the book. This is for everyone. But before we do that, massive announcement. Check this out. You're gonna love it. I've mentioned this on a few videos and on X, but this book was indeed crowdfunded. Now, any person who has donated or will donate to the crowdfunding will receive a full audiobook, and this is crowdfunding exclusive. So, as a way to say thank you to the people that have donated and supported my dream of becoming an author, if you have a minimum of $5 donation, you will receive the entirety of the audio file of the book, recorded by me with my voice, no AI involved, as a crowdfunding exclusive reward. This applies retroactively, so for all 262 donors that I've had so far, you'll get this, and anyone who decides to donate $5 or more, thank you very much, never expected, always appreciated, then you will be guaranteed a audio file of the book by the end of the crowdfunding campaign. Important, once the crowdfunding campaign is over, this audiobook version will not be made for sale. So this is once again crowdfunding exclusive. It's a perk. If you're interested in the audiobook, click the link in the description, and thank you so much. As a way to say thank you to the people who supported me through the crowdfunding. Now, why did I crowdfund this in the first place? Well, this is very common actually among authors to crowdfund a book project. One, because it's a good way to gauge whether or not there is interest for the book, but also because, of course, publishing a book is expensive. You have to pay for beta readers, which sometimes you can find people that will beta read your book for free, but I feel bad. I want to pay people for giving me feedback. I will pay the beta readers, I will pay the proofreaders, and then, of course, professional editing. That can cost a few thousand. I'm going to pay a real artist to make the cover of the book, and then there is all the hours that I have to set aside for the book, kind of can impact the finances of any families. That is also one of the reasons why I decided to crowdfund it. Also, as many of you know, in the next couple of months I'm going to become a father. Isn't that exciting and expensive? Link in the description. If you're a truck driver, someone commutes to work, or maybe you like listening to audiobooks while you're doing your chores, yeah, there is a downloadable file right now, sample. Go get it in the video description box. Once again, link in the description if you want to support the project. Crowdfunding exclusive, not available after the campaign is over. Only the physical copy or the digital copy of the book will be sold. Returning to the free stuff today. Manuscript is completed, as I said. It's about 180 pages, yeah, 180 precisely, which translates to roughly 42,000 words, which is kind of where I want to be, maybe 45,000. It's non-fiction, but it's not highly academic, so it's relatively standard. Today I want to jump with you onto chapter 2, which is the chapter dedicated to pronunciation, and read it a little bit. Keep in mind that this is before formatting. It's not formatted yet. If you see anything like that, like the font size and whatnot, that will all be addressed. Let's go. Okay, so we're going to check a little audio sample now. Obviously the final version, I will use a pop filter, make sure it's within the acceptable decibel range, and this is still raw, but just to give you an idea. Chapter 2. Pronunciation. Chapter Intro. Every language has an inventory of sounds, which forms its building blocks of communication. Pronunciation is the area of study that covers the array of sounds, including phonemes, that a learner must acquire to produce clear, understandable speech. Accurate pronunciation is a necessary part of foreign language acquisition, and it should be addressed as early as possible. In this chapter, we'll cover how to train yourself to achieve your true phonetic potential. 2.1. What is an accent? The Oxford English Dictionary defines an accent as a way of pronouncing a language that is distinctive to a country, area, social class, or individual. Everyone has an accent. Native speakers have regional accents. A Texan sounds different from a Bostonian, a Londoner from a Glaswegian. Technically speaking, the idea of having no accent is a misnomer, even though it has become common parlance. In language learning, what people typically refer to as having no accent is defined as the standardized version of a given language, which is often, but not always, based on the accent of the capital city or a major cultural center. There is also a distinction between a foreign accent and a regional or non-standard accent, both different from the standardized version of the language, but in fundamentally different ways. 2.2. Is it okay to have an accent? Yes, it's totally fine to have a foreign accent when speaking your target language, but there is a caveat. A light non-native accent is not an issue, as long as it doesn't hinder effective communication. The primary goal in acquiring a foreign language is clear expression. Moreover, an accent is often seen as an enriching part of a speaker's linguistic identity. However, learning to pronounce foreign words according to the language's phonetic system is an essential and highly satisfying part of acquiring the language. Do not underestimate the importance of studying pronunciation. What this means, practically, is that you must focus on the most important core aspect of pronunciation in order to reduce your accent. You must train your brain to recognize phonemic distinctions, that is, sound differences that can change meaning in a language. That said, many language learners aspire to sound as native-like as possible. This is a challenging goal, but not an impossible one. How close you can get depends on a number of factors. In this chapter, we will first discuss the fundamental aspects of pronunciation that all learners should master. We will then provide a more detailed guide for those who wish to go further and seek to reach their maximum potential, getting as close as possible to native-like diction. Ultimately, how far you choose to go beyond the essentials of pronunciation proficiency is entirely up to you. 2.3. Sooner rather than later. There is a reason why the pronunciation chapter appears so early in this book. Many aspects of language learning can be improved or refined later. Pronunciation is not one of them. The sooner you address it, the better. Spending time understanding and learning how to accurately mimic the sounds of your target language is a small-time investment that will pay off immensely throughout your entire learning journey. On the contrary, if you memorize a large amount of vocabulary without learning how to pronounce it correctly, you will essentially have to relearn each word a second time later. This is not only highly inefficient, but it is significantly harder to correct bad pronunciation habits once they have been reinforced over time through repetition. As your muscle memory adapts to inaccurate mouth positions and sound patterns, improving your pronunciation will feel like relearning the entire language. This phenomenon, where incorrect patterns become resistant to change, is sometimes referred to as fossilization. Whenever you learn a new word, always take extra time to review its pronunciation. 2.4. Precision over speed. At the beginning of your journey, precision is more important than speed. Some learners try to speak fast very early on to impress their peers and native speakers. This almost always backfires. It is observed that speech clarity improves when slowing down in the early stages of learning. Enunciating each word properly and deliberately is paramount. Only after consistent repetition should you begin to increase speed. Pronouncing each sound distinctly before increasing speed helps to maintain both coherence and clarity. Key: speed is only truly impressive when it is supported by precision. Speed at the expense of precision will make your speech unintelligible. Eventually, as your proficiency improves, speed will come naturally, allowing you to express yourself in a fluent manner. Put simply, speed is a byproduct of proficiency, and proficiency only happens with repetition, experience, and time. Okay, so as you can see, this is just a little sample of Chapter 2. Other sections are 2.5, how to study pronunciation, incorrect mapping. We talk about whether or not it's possible to learn how to royal R and exercises that you can do to do that. And then we'll address some of my favorite sections are the ones about shadowing, echoing memory, which is fascinating, and choral reading. The approximation trap we have got, is pronunciation really that important? Your phonetic inventory and how to manipulate it. On point 2.10 we address critical period hypothesis, all with the bibliography and footnotes of course. Which accent should you choose? How do I deal with all these different accents? How do you learn the right pronunciation? How to sound natural when you speak? We'll address overcompensation, which is again a phenomenon with beginners when it comes to language learning. Tonal languages, pitch-based languages, a little bit of tonogenesis, among other things. And then we have the chapter conclusion, which kind of neatly packs everything together. As you see, we go into a lot of details. Chapter 2 alone is 32 pages. Phonological transfer, there is a whole section with its bibliography, where I have, of course, add citations, how do I justify this from an academic level. But the book is not highly academic, by the way. It has just a little bit of academic teaching, just a little bit, but mostly is practical at its core. And if you noticed, yes, every chapter is divided in sections. 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. I know this is not exactly standard, but this is not just a book, it's also a teaching aid. And I will personally use it and build an entire online course on top of this, where I will use it and be like, hey guys, okay, let's study. We're on section 4.1 today. We're looking at memory techniques and memorization practices. So let's turn to page whatever the heck. So I'll use it also as a way to teach. And you can use it as a way to learn, as a way to teach, whatever you like. What's interesting is that, for instance, if you noticed, some of the sections on chapter 2 were questions. Just a few. Chapter 1, every single section is a question. Special approach when it comes to chapter 1, because I really wanted to address all of those questions that students over the years have asked me. How long will it take me to become fluent? How many words do I need to learn? Can I have an accent? How do I overcome this? How do I do this? What language should I choose? Like a lot of questions. There are, like, at the moment, probably like 35 subsections on chapter 1 alone. The idea is the book is structured in the following manner. It's clear, to the point, slightly professional, but not too much. It needs to be flowy, so it's easy to follow, and most importantly, it's practical, not theoretical. The majority of what you learn is something that you can apply, and I will tell you how to apply it, because chapter 8 alone is exercises. Exercises, do this, do that, and this is the section that it combines to. So for instance, if I'm teaching you something and it sounds a little theoretical, then I tell you chapter 8, section 5, there's this exercise, this is how you put it into practice. So ideally, the book is designed around this core function. We have a problem, there is an explanation of the problem, so we understand it. There is a solution on how to do it, followed by an example. So problem, explanation, solution, example. This is how the book is organized, all 8 chapters. I think it's looking really good. As I said, it's fully written. I'm just polishing it, doing the editing. As I say, I'm on round 3. We'll see how many edits I'm gonna need, I don't know, but I'll do my best and then I'll send it to the pros. Once again, thank you so much for everyone who's believed in me with the crowdfunding. I really appreciate that. And if you've got $5 to spare and you believe in my potential as an author and as well as a teacher, then please click the link in the description and you will get not only audio samples as I go on of these sections and chapters, but you will get the entire audiobook, which will be crowdfunding exclusive. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, the Metatron has spread his wings.